The 2010-11 Barcelona side is widely regarded as the greatest football team in history. Under Pep Guardiola's management, they played a brand of football that redefined the sport, blending tactical brilliance, relentless pressing, and flawless ball movements. With iconic players like Lionel Messi, Xavi, and Iniesta at the heart of their tiki-taka style, Barcelona dominated La Liga and Europe, culminating in a stunning Champions League final victory over Manchester United. Their mastery of possession and fluidity on the pitch made them virtually unstoppable, setting a new standard for excellence in football. Here's how you can replicate the 2010-11 Barcelona tactics in FT25. In the 2010-11 season, Barcelona were consistently set up in a 4-3-3, but a 4-3-3 with a false 9 deployed up front. The likes of Lionel Messi was allowed the freedom to drop into the midfield and create central overloads alongside Xavi, Iniesta, and Sergio Busquets. Now, the structure of this 4-3-3 could also alternate and change from time to time. The right back in Dani Alves was allowed to venture further up the field and add to the attacking elements higher up the pitch, whereas Abidal would often look to tuck inside and almost formulate a lopsided back three, making sure that the left-hand side was locked down defensively, and it would provide an excellent platform for Barcelona to build up off of. The Barcelona team tactics will have a build-up style set to short passing, as this team often looked to dominate possession, consistently looking to play from the back, having the goalkeeper in Victor Valdez play the ball into the possession of one of the centre-backs, who would then look to develop the ball further forward. That could have either been with a line-breaking pass into the possession of the midfield, or potentially in Gerard Piqué's case, looking to collect the ball under pressure and drive forward with it, creating successful numerical overloads in the central zones. Now, with this side, it was all about passing and moving into space, creating that nice fluidity that we associate with this Barcelona team, consistently looking to rotate play and make sure that the ball carrier always had multiple passing options in and around him. And these sequences would consistently occur all over the field, whether it was deeper in their own half, centrally, or higher up the field when they are looking to attack the opposition. It was very rare to see Pep Guardiola's team loft the ball or switch passes into the opposite flank, but they did also do this, creating successful side overloads before switching the play to the opposite flank, who would have a lot of space to go ahead and try and exploit. Now, more so it was done down the right-hand side, where they would create a side overload before switching the play out wide to David Villa down the left-hand flank. As for the defensive approach, it should be set to aggressive, with the line height being set to 95. Guardiola's side would successfully look to implement the 6-second rule, meaning that when possession was lost, they would look to immediately surround the ball carrier and win the ball back very aggressively higher up the field. Now, if this did not work, you would see them drop back and formulate their defensive structure, which was still a 4-3-3. They wouldn't look to consistently harass and press and probe the opposition, but they would set pressing traps and triggers, meaning that if the opposition did take a heavy touch or misplace a pass, they would look to pounce that mistake, win the ball back, and restore possession in Barcelona's favour. Now, with this high line implemented as well, they would look to try and suffocate the opposition higher up the field, pushing the centre-backs into those more attacking zones and making sure that the pressure was on the opponents. This would also allow them to successfully catch the opposition offside in numerous occasions. The key to success for this 2010-11 Barcelona side was based around the midfield and Messi, having them interchange those short passing sequences centrally and allowing them to overload and overwhelm the opposition. As we move on to the individual player roles, we'll start off at the back with the goalkeeper in Victor Valdez, who will be set to the role of sweeper keeper, with the focus being set to balanced. At the time, Valdez was one of the only keepers in the world to be able to successfully play out from the back, looking to help Barcelona maintain possession and play those passes either into the backline or into the midfield. This was seen as an advantage for Pep Guardiola's side, as they would frequently look to utilize the numerical advantage in the deeper areas of the field, looking to outnumber the opposition with multiple passing options. With the Barcelona backline pressing higher up the field, it did require Valdez to be able to sweep up just in behind them, protecting the large amount of space left and behind the defensive line. Now, of course, Valdez was also excellent in those 1v1 saving scenarios, often coming out on top against the opposition attackers. The main centre-back duo from that season was Javier Mascherano, deployed as the right-sided centre-back, and Gerard Piqué deployed as the left-sided centre-back. Now, both of these players will be set to the role of ball-playing defender, with the focus being set to build a play for Gerard Piqué and defend for Mascherano, as he would often look to stay back and maintain the defensive structure and line, but also having the ability to collect the ball under pressure or in those deeper zones and play those line-breaking passes further forward. The same can also be said for the left-sided centre-back in Gerard Piqué, but he was also allowed the freedom to be able to collect the ball in those deeper areas and then drive forward with it, creating successful attacking overloads in the central zones and higher up the field. As for the left-back in Abidal, his role will be full-back, with the focus being set to balance, at times creating a lopsided back three, but really allowing for him to lock down the left-hand space. Very rarely would we see Abidal venturing high up the field and adding to the attacking outlets, as you would see Xavi and David Villa looking to overload down the left-hand flank. But Abidal's role was also very important, especially in the earlier phases of the build-up play, looking to show for passes and be a ball progressor from those deeper zones, looking for passes into the midfield, who would then look to circulate play and overload and overwhelm the opposition. Whereas for Dani Alves in the right-back position, he'll be set to the role of attacking wing-back with the focus being set to attack. He was granted the freedom to attack up and down the right-hand space, frequently looking to overlap the right winger and supply a cross or a cutback into the box for the attackers, and it was mainly low crosses and cutback opportunities presented to that front line. Now, Dani Alves was a generational attacking right back, but he was also able to track back at times and help defend down the right-hand space. As we enter the central areas, Sergio Busquets sat at the base of the midfield, and his role would be holding with the focus being set to defend. Busquets was a press-resistant 6, meaning he could receive passes under the press and the pressure from the opposition, swivel and turn and find a pass to one of his teammates. He would often look to sit in between the lines and receive passes before progressing the ball into possession of either a Xavi or an Iniesta. Now, defensively, Busquets wasn't a mobile player, but he would often look to position himself in the right areas in order to try and break up and disturb the opposition's attacking play. Onto the right central midfield position, and Xavi Hernandez was the midfield maestro for the side. He'll have the role of deep-lying playmaker with the focus being set to defend. You would often see Xavi looking to pop up in the half spaces or showing for passes in between the lines in those deeper phases of play, making sure that Barcelona were very successful in building their attacks out from the back. Xavi was also able to add to the attacking outlet higher up the field as well, delivering incisive passes into the box for the other attackers in and around him. For Iniesta, deployed in that left central midfielder position, he'll be set to the role of playmaker with the focus being set to roaming, allowing him to shoulder a lot more of the attacking impetus higher up the pitch, almost at times playing as a number 10. Now, with Iniesta in this role, he could look to operate down the left-hand space, frequently combining passing sequences alongside David Villa, attacking the half space or the wider zone. For David Villa's position as that left winger, he'll be set to the role of wide playmaker with the focus being set to attack. A slightly different role compared to Pedro down the right-hand side, David Villa was allowed to hug the left touchline, allowing him to create successful 1v1 duels against the opposition fullback, more often than not looking to beat the fullback and supply a cross or a cutback into the box for the attackers in and around that zone. With the fluid movement that Guardiola granted the front line, you would at times see Messi and Villa switching positions, having Villa play up front at times, looking to add a different attacking elements or outlets down at the central areas of the field. Now, the same can also be said for Pedro, who will have the role of inside forward with the focus being set to balanced. Quite often you would see the right winger looking to drift inside and open up that right-hand corridor for the likes of Dani Alves to overlap him successfully and add an extra attacking element down the right-hand side. Now, with Pedro looking to drift interiorly, you would see him interchanging passing sequences alongside Messi, who would often look to drop deeper and allow Pedro to operate as that striker. Now, both wingers were allowed to make those attacking runs into the interior zones, and this was mainly down to the role of Lionel Messi deployed as that false 9. Now, Lionel Messi was deployed in this position, and he'll be set to the role of false 9 with the focus being set to build up play. You would often see the number 9 dropping deep at times and looking to link the play with the midfielders, dropping deep and maybe even pulling a centre-back out of position, opening up a lot of central space for one of the wingers or maybe one of the central midfielders to move into and attack. Messi's role in the side allowed him to have the freedom to drift out wide or potentially stay centrally and create those successful passing sequences. So when Pep Guardiola's side were in possession of the ball, they would somewhat create a lopsided back three, with Mascherano, Piqué, as well as Abidal in the back line, with Abidal looking to successfully mark and defend that left-hand space. The midfield was where Barcelona were most threatening, as that season they maintained around 65 to 67% possession, having either a 3 or a 4-man midfield at all times, and always looking to create the numerical advantage centrally. Xavi, being the conductor of the side, would always make sure that the Barcelona midfield was consistently looking to rotate play, whereas Busquets mainly had the defensive role of looking to recover the ball and make sure that he was trying to disturb and break up the play, but also at times when Barcelona were looking to overwhelm the opposition, especially in that final third area, Busquets could often pop up as the extra man in the attack, looking to add more passing options in that attacking third. Whereas down the right flank, you would see the likes of Dani Alves looking to overlap the right winger and supply a cross or a cutback into the box for the attackers. The front three would frequently look to combine in those attacking zones, having the fluidity to move in and out of their different positions, with Messi looking to drop off the back line and supply and feed passes into the possession of the two wide attackers. And there we go, people. That is how it successfully go ahead and replicate and recreate the greatest team of all time, the 2010-2011 Barcelona side under Pep Guardiola. I do hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you don't mind as well smashing that like button down below, it does a whole lot of stuff for the algorithm. And if you like the content on the channel, please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. That would mean the absolute most to me. I am on the road to 15k. Well, I should say we are on the road to 15k. We are building a fantastic community on this channel. So if you don't mind as well hitting that big red subscription button, it would mean the absolute most. Anyways, until the next time, until the next one, I hope you have a smashing goddamn day, and I'm out of here.